Renaissance Rangers, and welcome to the Renaissance Police. I'm Alex.
I'm Avery.
I'm Shannon.
I'm Nicole.
And today's guest stars are the Nuns. What do you guys think about Dante Alighieri? Did you read his Divine Comedy?
I did, and I think it is a great reflection of scholastic tradition.
I think it's amazing how fast it's spread. Everyone has read it.
I think that it's great with someone who has a low nobility in Florence could write such a great book.
And now to the Nuns.
Well, the book talks about the rings of hell, purgatory, and seeing God, but also puts the Pope in hell.
This book was very offensive. The Pope banned him from his hometown, and he had to pay a large fine. He also made a lot of enemies.
Now let's talk about the father of humanism, Petrarch. Can we just talk about how ridiculous he looks with those leaves around his head?
I mean, he wears them for a reason. He was crowned by a Roman senator as poet laureate, which means he was crowned with leaves around his head.
I think it's romantic how he wrote poems about the girl he loved.
His Latin is awesome. He definitely got his nickname Father of Humanism for a reason.
He was a religious Catholic, and he examined his faith in his book, The Secretum.
But he struggled with his love for wanting eternity.
Let's talk about Boccaccio. His masterpiece, Decameron, was about the Black Plague.
I thought it was an amazing story about 10 travelers who fled because of the Black Plague and went to Naples.
Reading this book really gave me an understanding about the Italian life and the period of history during that time.
Okay, so nuns, how is Boccaccio's relationship with the church?
Well, he didn't reject Christianity.
But the church condemned his writings because of the content.
Okay, so now I think we're going to talk about Raphael.
I think he was a nice guy. I admire him for his nice composition.
I think his paintings of Madonna were absolutely stunning.
I think it's cool that he worked for wealthy families.
Now let's ask our nuns about his relationship with the church.
He had a really good relationship with the church. The Pope commissioned him to do some paintings.
His murals in the papal apartments were considered some of his greatest works.
Now moving on, let's talk about one of the greatest artists of the Renaissance, Michelangelo.
What do you all think about his most famous works, like the Pieta, the David, and the ceiling painting of the Sistine Chapel?
I think his works show off his extraordinary talent. What about you, Nikki?
His works are insightful and they show realism and never before seen intensity.
Michelangelo was born in such a small village and is now known worldwide for his works as a sculptor, painter, architect, poet, and engineer.
Michelangelo had a pretty good relationship with the church, but he had a fight with the Pope, Julius II, over his payment for the Sistine Chapel's paintings.
Okay, Avery, so who do we have next?
Okay, Alex, next we have Niccolo Machiavelli. Shannon, tell us a little bit about him.
We all know Machiavelli from his famous works, The Prince, but he wasn't just a writer. He was also a historian, politician, diplomat, philosopher, and humanist.
Wow, he was really accomplished, but what do you guys think about his masterpiece, The Prince?
It's very simple and straightforward.
It was guided for ruling that sparked conflict with the Catholic and scholastic doctrines.
The conflict was about how to contemplate ethics and politics.
Well, that's the end of tonight's show. Farewell, Renaissance Rangers, and have a swell night.